All right, let's dive in. Today, we're all about vehicle electronics installers. Getting you ready for that interview.
Yeah.
And we've got some awesome resources to help us out. RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
And their interview guide, those are great.
Super helpful. And hey, want to know something cool? This field, it's projected to grow like 8%
Wow, that's...
through 2029.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's faster than average.
Yeah.
So that means there's going to be a need for skilled folks.
Absolutely. Big demand.
Like you listening.
Out there.
So, yeah.
So let's get into it.
Let's unpack this. First things first. What exactly does a vehicle electronics installer do?
Right. Good question.
The Career Guide. It gives us a pretty cool picture.
Yeah, it does. Think of it like this.
Okay.
You're the one who brings all those cool high-tech features in cars, you know? You make them come to life.
So good.
GPS systems, sound systems that everybody loves, backup cameras. You're integrating all that into the car's system
Whoa.
to make it work.
So you're not just installing a stereo. You're like a tech surgeon.
Yeah, exactly. For cars. It's a very specialized skill set, for sure.
And with electric vehicles on the rise.
Oh, huge.
And all the autonomous driving features.
Yeah, all that.
I mean, this job is becoming even more crucial.
Absolutely. It's only going to become more and more important.
Okay. So RoleCatcher, they have some insights.
Yes, they do.
And they show that a lot of installers, they start with more basic installations.
Yeah, you kind of work your way up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get the experience as you go.
And then they specialize, right?
Right, as they gain that experience. So you might start with audio systems and then move into security or like some really cutting edge areas.
Wow.
Like advanced driver assistance tech, which is huge right now.
So that's where it gets really interesting. But before we go there, let's talk about those interview questions.
Yes, the dreaded interview questions.
Because get you ready.
We got to get you ready to impress, right?
So we're going to dive into RoleCatcher's top 10 vehicle electronics installer interview questions.
Okay.
And give you the inside scoop on how to just blow them away.
Yeah, knock their socks off. And remember, even though we're just focusing on these top 10,
right.
RoleCatcher's got like hundreds more.
Really?
Yeah. A huge library of them.
Wow.
All tailored to different jobs and industries.
That's awesome.
And they even have this AI that can help you practice and get feedback on your answers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're totally prepared.
So let's jump right in. Question number 1.
All right, let's do it. Hit me.
What experience do you have with installing vehicle electronics? Okay, that seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it seems pretty basic.
But what are they really looking for here?
Well, it's pretty simple. What they're really trying to figure out is, do you actually have the experience to do the job?
Right.
Not just, have you messed around with your buddy's car stereo?
Yeah.
They want to know you've got the skills, the know-how that they need.
Okay, so how do you approach that?
So you don't want to just ramble on about every car you've ever, tinkered with.
Right.
Right. You want to think about any formal training you have, apprenticeships, maybe even personal projects that show off your skills.
Like what? Give us an example.
So, like, did you help a friend install a new sound system?
Yeah.
Did you ever take apart your own car stereo just to see how it works?
Right.
Those are great examples.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That show initiative and passion.
And don't forget about those transferable skills.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Even if you haven't worked, specifically as an installer before, maybe you've got experience with electronics repair.
Yeah.
Wiring, troubleshooting. I mean, all that stuff's valuable, right?
Absolutely. It all comes into play.
Okay.
And be ready for follow-up questions, too. Like
what?
What was the most challenging installation you ever did? Or tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a really complex electronic system. Right.
Have a specific example ready to go.
Okay.
That shows you can think on your feet and solve problems.
So it's all about showing them that you're not just a talker. You're a doer.
Exactly. Gotta walk the walk.
Okay. Question number 2.
All right, bring it on.
Can you explain the differences between analog and digital systems? Okay, I'll admit.
Uh-oh.
My eyes kind of glaze over when I hear those terms.
Yeah.
So break it down for me. What are they really getting at?
All right, so they want to make sure you understand the basics.
Okay.
The fundamental principles behind the tech you'll be working with.
Right.
So think of it this way, like an old school car radio.
Yeah.
Uses analog signals, which are like continuous waves,
Okay.
like the sound of your voice. But a GPS, that uses digital signals,
Uh-huh.
which are like discrete bits of information like the ones and zeros computers use.
Uh-huh.
It's about how the information is processed.
Got it.
And with cars relying more and more on digital tech.
All right. You got to know this stuff.
Yeah.
So in your answer, explain the difference clearly.
Okay.
Maybe use an example like the radio versus the GPS. And be ready for some follow-up questions.
Like what?
Like, can you give me an example of an analog component in a car? Or how do you think this shift toward digital systems is going to affect vehicle electronics installers?
Oh, okay. So they might ask you to like look into the future a little bit.
Exactly. Be prepared.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. On to question number 3. How do you ensure the safety of the vehicle while installing electronics? Now, this one seems pretty serious.
Yeah, it is. Super important.
What are the key things to hit in your answer?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, you got to show them that safety is your top priority.
Right.
Right? You're messing with electrical systems here.
Yeah.
And mistakes can have real consequences.
Definitely.
So always start by emphasizing the importance of disconnecting the battery
Oh, good point.
before you do anything. That eliminates the risk of shock or short circuits.
Right.
And the career guide actually mentions how working in those confined spaces
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
can be hazardous, sharp edges, maybe even exposure to battery acid.
Yikes.
So safety is really, really important. You also want to mention the importance of properly insulating all the wiring, preventing damage,
Okay.
making sure the electrical system works right. And don't forget personal safety gear.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Gloves, safety glasses, all that good stuff.
So it's about protecting yourself,
Okay.
the vehicle, and making sure the job's done right.
Exactly. 3 things to keep in mind. And they might have some follow-up questions.
Oh, what kind of follow-up
You
question?
could ask, what specific safety equipment do you use? Or describe a time you had to address a safety concern during an installation. Be ready to give a specific example.
Okay, so be prepared. On to question number 4. Can you troubleshoot common issues that arise during installation?
Okay.
Okay, let's be real. Installations don't always go perfectly, right?
Nope. Definitely not.
So how do you show them you're like a problem-solving pro?
So you got to think like a detective. Walk them through your process. Let's say you're installing a car stereo and suddenly there's no sound. What do?
Right.
First thing, maybe check the wiring connections, make sure they're secure. Then you'd want to verify the power supply to the stereo and the speakers. If those are okay, then you might consult the wiring diagram to see if there's any issues.
Oh, the wiring diagram.
Right.
So it's not just about like randomly fiddling with wire.
No. Gotta be systematic.
Got a plan.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also mention any diagnostic tools you're familiar with,
Oh, like a...
like a multimeter or an OBD2 scanner.
Mm-hmm.
Those show them you're ready to handle those more complex problems, and they'll probably have follow-ups for that too.
Like what kind of follow-ups?
Like, describe a time you faced a tricky problem and how'd you solve it.
Okay.
So have some stories ready.
This is great. I'm already feeling more confident. Let's move on to question number 5. How do you keep up with new technology and advancements in the field?
Good one.
And this one seems especially important just because technology is always changing.
Right. Yeah. It's crucial. They want to know you're dedicated to staying ahead of the curve. So you got to be specific about how you do that. Do you subscribe to magazines? Do you attend conferences? Do you follow forums online or experts on social media?
Right.
Just show them you're proactive.
It's about showing them you're not just learning for the job, you're actually passionate about this stuff. And you're trying to, expand your knowledge all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You're always learning, you're curious, and don't just list sources.
Right.
Explain how they actually benefit you. You could say, I subscribe to Mobile Electronics magazine to learn about the latest products and installation techniques. Or I follow industry leaders on LinkedIn to keep up with those emerging trends.
I like it.
Yeah.
What about follow-up questions for this one?
So they might ask, what new technology are you most excited about? Or how do you see a specific technology impacting the future of vehicle electronics installation?
Wow.
Yeah, they want to know you're thinking ahead.
So be ready to share your insights and excitement.
Exactly. And that's actually where RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful.
Oh, how so?
You can use it to research technologies and see how they relate to different jobs.
So cool.
It's like having a cheat sheet for the job market.
I like that. Okay, let's move on to question number 6.
Wait,
Oh.
before we do, I just remembered something really important about staying up to date
Okay.
with tech. The career guide emphasizes certifications.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Things like the Mobile Electronics Certification Program,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
MECP.
Oh, yeah.
Those are like gold stars that tell employers you have the skill.
Yeah, it's proof, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
It boosts your credibility, but can also increase your earning potential.
Oh,
And some employers even require them for certain roles.
really?
Yeah, especially ones with those advanced technologies we talked about.
So it's not just about keeping up, it's about having those credentials.
Exactly. Proof you've mastered it.
Okay. Now, W, we can move on to question number 6.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time when working on multiple installations? All right, the classic time management question.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's favorite.
This one's all about showing you're organized,
Mm-hmm.
efficient, can handle a lot.
You got it.
Right. They want to know that you can juggle multiple projects
Yeah, without dropping the ball.
without, totally messing things up. So how do you convince them that you are a time management ninja?
Well, you got to highlight your system. Do you use a planner? A scheduling app?
Mm-hmm.
Do you break down big installations into smaller tasks?
Okay.
Whatever your method, just emphasize organization and meeting deadlines.
Right.
And be ready to give examples. How have you successfully managed multiple projects before?
So I have a good story. Now, what about those unexpected challenges? Because they always come up, right?
Oh, yeah, always. Those curveballs.
Mm-hmm. So how do you handle those without, getting thrown off?
Flexibility. That's key. You might say something like,
Okay.
I prioritize my installations based on deadlines and complexity.
Mm-hmm.
I use a scheduling app to keep track of everything.
Right.
And I always build in a little buffer time.
Oh,
It's
smart.
for those unexpected things that pop up.
Okay, so be ready for anything. It's about having a plan, but being able to adapt.
Mm-hmm. Roll with the punches. And they'll probably have follow-ups on this too.
Like what kind of follow-ups?
Like, tell me about a time you had to juggle multiple deadlines. How did you prioritize?
Okay.
How do you handle it when an installation takes longer than you thought?
So be ready for those real-world scenarios.
Exactly.
All right, we're making great progress.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Time for question number 7. Can you explain your knowledge of wiring diagrams and schematics?
Okay.
I always found those a little intimidating, to be honest. What's the key to nailing this program?
So think of those diagrams as blueprints.
Okay.
Like, you have to be able to read and understand them.
Right.
Don't just say, I understand them. You got to go deeper.
Okay.
Explain that you can trace the flow of electricity, identify the components and how everything connects together.
Okay. So it's like reading a map,
Yeah, exactly.
but instead of roads and landmarks, it's like wires
And circuits.
and components.
Right. And the career guide, it actually emphasizes how important it is to be familiar with different types of diagrams and symbols, especially ones used by certain manufacturers.
Oh, yeah, because they all have their own little quirks, right?
Yeah. It's like learning a new language almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe mention any specific standards or symbols that you've worked with,
Yeah. Good idea.
from manuals or training.
Yeah. You could say I'm good at reading and interpreting them, and I'm familiar with mention some specific ones, which helps me understand diagrams from different places.
Okay, so you're showing that you've got a good foundation
Exactly.
in this really important skill.
Yeah.
What about follow-up questions for this one?
So they might ask, can you explain how you'd use a wiring diagram to troubleshoot something?
Okay.
Or what steps do you take to make sure you're reading it correctly?
So be ready to walk them through your thought process.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, on to question number 8. How do you handle difficult or dissatisfied customers? This one seems like it could be tricky
Oh, yeah, this one's a big one.
because you're dealing with people's vehicles, right? Which they love.
Yeah.
So what's the key to handling this gracefully?
It's all about empathy, professionalism, and problem-solving skills.
Right.
Remember, not every installation is perfect, right?
Right.
And some customers, oh boy,
They can be tough.
challenging. So the interviewer, they want to see that you can stay cool and find a solution that keeps everyone happy.
So it's not about arguing with them. It's about understanding, their concern and finding a resolution.
You got it. So start by acknowledging their concerns, let them know you understand their frustration, and then explain the situation clearly, avoid the technical jargon.
Right. Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
What about those times when you genuinely can't meet their expectations?
Right.
Like maybe they want something that's just not possible,
Mm-hmm.
or it's not safe to install.
Yeah, that happens. It's all about managing expectations and being honest.
Okay.
So you might say something like, I understand what you're looking for, but because of explained the limitation, that's not really feasible. However, we could explore some other options that might get you a similar result.
Oh, okay. So you're being upfront,
Mm-hmm.
transparent, but still trying to find a solution.
Exactly. Got to keep everyone happy. And you know what?
All right.
They'll probably have follow-up questions about this too.
Oh, like what?
They might ask something like, tell me about a time you dealt with a really tough customer. How did you handle it? Or, what do you do to prevent customer dissatisfaction in the first place?
Okay. So again, have that good story ready to go about how you save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question number 9. Can you explain your knowledge of OBD systems? Now, I know OBD stands for onboard diagnostics,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a little fuzzy on the details. What do they really want to hear with this question?
They want to make sure you understand the super important diagnostic tool.
Okay.
Right? OBD systems,
Hmm.
they monitor a vehicle's emissions, its performance.
Right.
Super important for troubleshooting and repair.
Gotcha.
You got to show them, what they do, how they work, and how to actually use them to diagnose those problems.
So not just like, what OBD stands for.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Now to know how to actually use it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the career guide mentions that knowing OBD2,
Okay.
which is the current standard in most vehicles,
Right.
that's essential.
Okay.
So mention that you're familiar with it, that you know how to use a scanner
Mm-hmm.
to get those codes. Think of those codes as clues
Okay.
that point you to the problem.
Right. The secret language.
Exactly. Your scanner helps you translate.
Oh, I like that. It's like you're a code breaker.
Mm-hmm. Figuring out what's wrong with the car.
Okay, cool.
And you could even mention how some manufacturers,
Mm-hmm.
they have their own specific OBD protocols.
Right. Little differences.
Yeah, so it shows that you understand those nuances.
Mhm.
Be ready for some follow-ups on this too.
Oh, like what?
They might ask you, explain how you'd use OBD data to diagnose a specific problem.
Okay.
Or what are some limitations of the system?
All right, so be prepared to think on your feet a little bit.
Always.
Okay, we're on the home stretch.
Okay.
Question number 10. How do you ensure customer satisfaction? This one seems less technical.
Yeah, this is more about those soft skills
Yeah.
that are so important. So what are the key things to highlight here?
Right.
Well, this is your chance to show off those amazing customer service skills.
Okay.
It's about going above and beyond to make that customer happy. So emphasize clear communication
Mhm.
throughout the whole process. Keep them informed. Let them know what you're doing,
Right.
why you're doing it, answer their questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because a confused customer is not a happy customer.
Right, exactly. So it's not just about doing the job, it's about making them feel comfortable
Exactly.
and involved in the process.
Make them feel like they're part of the team. And don't forget those little things.
Like what?
Like, make sure your work area is clean. Double check everything for quality. Maybe even offer to program their favorite radio stations.
Oh, that's nice.
Those small gestures go a long way.
Yeah, it shows you care. Okay, what about follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask, tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer.
Mm.
Or how do you handle it when a customer's just not happy with the work?
So have those stories ready.
Always be prepared.
This has been super helpful. I feel like I've learned so much
Good.
about being a vehicle electronics installer. Before we move on to how RoleCatcher's AI can help us nail these questions,
Right.
I want to circle back to career paths and advancement.
Oh, yeah.
The career guide. It makes this fields look really exciting.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of potential for growth.
So it's not just a job, it's a career.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about those career paths. Where can someone starting out as a vehicle electronics installer go?
Well, you might start as an entry-level installer,
Mm-hmm.
working with, more experienced technicians.
Right.
But as you gain experience, you could become a senior installer,
Mm-hmm.
leading projects, even mentoring newer installers.
So for those who are really ambitious,
Oh, yeah,
they're management positions, right?
absolutely. You could be a lead installer, supervising a team,
Okay.
or even move into management, overseeing the whole department.
Wow. Even owning your own shop one day.
Hey, it's possible.
And we can't forget about those who want to specialize.
Oh, good point.
Right. With all this new tech, there's a lot of potential for like niche expertise.
Yeah. As we move towards more connected cars, EVs, autonomous driving,
Right.
There's going to be a huge demand for specialists in areas like, advanced driver assistance systems, infotainment systems, even EV charging infrastructure.
Okay, so there really is a path for everyone, whether you're a generalist or a specialist. And speaking of expertise,
Yes.
don't forget those certifications.
Oh, yeah, good point.
The career guide highlights a couple of key ones that can boost your credibility into your salary.
Yeah, they can. Those are the Automotive Service Excellence Certification,
Okay.
ASE, and the Mobile Electronics Certification Program, the MECP.
So those prove to employers that you've got the skills, you've met the standards, you can do the work.
Exactly.
It's like a seal of approval.
It sets you apart. And don't forget networking.
Oh, yeah, good point.
The career guide also suggests joining organizations.
Okay, like what?
Like the Mobile Electronics Association, the MEA. It's a great way to connect with other people in the field.
Yeah, stay up to date, learn about jobs, maybe even find a mentor.
It's like a built-in support system.
Exactly. And speaking of support systems,
Yes.
let's talk about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you out.
Okay, let's dive into the world of AI.
Yeah.
And how it can help you land that dream job. RoleCatcher has some amazing tools, right?
Oh, yeah, they do.
They go way beyond just giving generic advice. Their AI can actually analyze specific job descriptions
Really?
and help tailor your answers.
Wow. So
It's like having a personal interview coach.
I love that.
You can input the job description and it will identify like the key skills that they're looking for.
So smart.
So you're not just giving some, canned response.
Right.
It's tailored
To that specific job.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, no way. What else?
RoleCatcher also offers feedback
Oh, cool.
on your answers. You can type them or even record them.
Wow.
And their AI will give you feedback on, like how clear you are, if you're concise, how relevant you are.
So it's like a virtual mock interview.
It is, but with really detailed insights. It can even pick up on things like your pacing,
Really?
your tone,
Wow.
even your body language if you use the video feature.
It's so cool.
I know, right? It's like having a secret weapon.
Right.
And the best part, RoleCatcher's library goes way beyond those top 10 questions. They have a massive database
Wow.
of questions that are specific to different industries, different roles, different skill sets. So no matter what they throw at you,
You'll be ready.
you'll be ready.
I love it.
This is so impressive. It feels like they've thought of everything.
They really have.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on the work environment.
Okay.
The career guide mentions it. It's not always glamorous, right?
It's definitely not a desk job. It's hands-on, working in those confined spaces.
Right.
Which can be tough.
Yeah. And then there are those potential hazards
No, right.
we talked about before, the sharp edges,
Mm-hmm.
the battery acid.
Yep. Safety is super important. You got to be aware and take precautions.
But despite the challenges, the career guide also talks about the rewards. There's a real sense of accomplishment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Installing a complex system and seeing it work.
It's so satisfying. That blend of technical skill and problem solving,
Yeah.
that's what draws people in.
And it's about making people's lives easier and more enjoyable.
Right. Putting in those cool gadgets.
So it's about making tech work for people.
Exactly.
Okay, so while there are challenges, there are also big rewards. Speaking of rewards,
Yeah.
let's talk about one more tool that RoleCatcher offers.
Oh.
Their AI-powered resume builder.
Oh, the resume.
Yes.
That first impression.
Right. It's so important. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you make it stand out.
Wow.
It highlights the skills and experience that are relevant.
So it's like having a professional resume writer.
It is.
Yeah.
You input your info, and the AI analyzes it, suggests keywords, formatting, even tailors it to specific jobs.
That is so cool.
It's all about grabbing their attention. And then, here's a bonus tip.
Okay, I love bonus tips.
Once you've made that awesome resume,
Yeah.
you can use RoleCatcher to apply directly for jobs.
Oh, wow. So it's like a one-stop shop.
It is. It makes the whole process easier.
Love it. So RoleCatcher is really about putting you in control, giving you the tools to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's like your one-stop shop for career success.
I like that.
It's not just about prepping for one interview. It's about giving you the tools and knowledge
Right.
to really thrive in this field.
It's about empowering you to take charge of your future.
Okay, we've covered so much today.
Yeah, we have.
Those top 10 questions, the AI tools. We've given you a roadmap to success.
We have.
But before we wrap up,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Oh, yes, our signature thought-provoking nugget.
As you gear up for that interview, remember,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about showing off those skills,
Mm-hmm.
your experience. It's also about your passion.
Oh, yeah.
Show them your enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Let them see that spark that drives you.
Because when you're really excited about something,
Mm-hmm.
it shows. It tells the interviewer, you're not just looking for any job.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for a place to contribute, to innovate, to make a difference.
It's about finding that perfect fit.
Exactly, where your skills and your passions align. And that's where RoleCatcher can help.
Mm-hmm. Their AI can help you find those opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
tailor your application,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately land that job.
So don't be afraid to explore all those resources.
Yeah.
Let your passion be your guide.
That's it for our deep dive
Mm-hmm.
into vehicle electronics installers.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you found it helpful, inspiring,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even gave you a little boost of confidence. Remember, you got the skills, you've got the drive,
You do.
and now you've got the knowledge
Yes.
to ace that interview.
Go out there and rock it.
Until next time, keep on learning,
Mm-hmm.
keep on growing,
Keep those circuits humming.
and keep on diving deep into the things you care about.
And yeah, so go for it.
Yeah, just go for it.
Go get that job.
That's it for our deep dive into the world of vehicle electronics installers. We hope you found it insightful, empowering, and maybe even a little inspiring. Remember, you've got the skills, you've got the drive, and now you've got the knowledge to ace that interview and launch an amazing career.
So go out there, rock that interview, and
Keep those circuits humming.
keep those circuits humming. Yes.
Yeah. Until next time, keep on learning, keep on growing, and keep on diving deep into the things that matter most to you.